Okay, we've made it through wave 23 and we are here with the last of the three ships. Just a reminder which ones we've covered. We have covered the IKS Amar. We have also covered the Romulan Warbird, the IRW Jazz Carl, and now we are here with the final one from wave 23, as we said, which is the USS Montgolfier, a Saber Class ship. Now this is pretty unusual because, as opposed to the Amar and the Jazz Carl, this ship never actually appeared in the series. It's one of the rare ones that they've done here that never appeared in the show. So it should have been really in First Contact, which is where this class first appeared, potentially in Deep Space Nine, maybe even in the closing seconds of Voyager. But this Saber Class ship is a really odd pack. The ship itself, the model itself, is pretty decent. It's silver colour, that they seem to be doing all the Federation ships in recently, which is not a favourite of mine, if I'm honest. The paintwork on it is not as good as the Amar or the Jazz Carl from this wave. It does look a bit dirty, a little bit faded, so there's going to be a wear on there. But the painting around these nacelles is a little bit off. And I'm not greatly thrilled with the finish. There's also a horrible join line, you can see it there, around the back end of this, which is really odd because usually these are pretty much one piece and kind of look pretty good when they're all joined together. Saber Class is a bit of an unusual one. Forward shuttle bay in front of the ship, which is odd. Nice bit of detail with the escape pods and the hatches and all the sort of ironmongery and the gubbins on the top. Warp nacelles, nicely detailed, and you've got a really odd deflector which sits towards the back of the ship, at the back of this kind of sorcery section, which isn't a saucer because it's effectively primary and secondary hull in one go. Yeah, not a bad little model, quite big, because the Saber Class is quite a small ship, so you've got a really big model for a very small ship. So why they didn't do something different when they did the 1701 original series one and they made that really small, it's going to look really silly if you ever use it beside this one because it's going to be massive. So let's get down to the ship itself. We've got a 3 on attack, 2 defense, 3 hull, 3 shield. Your standard Federation options of, if you can see those on there, your evade, target lock, scan and battle stations. Forward firing arc, as we said. Montgolfier, just for those, I know one thing I don't usually do is just pop it over, but you do also get the base which covers the generic version of the ship as well. So, not a bad little model. I say little, it is flipping massive. This one as well, actually, compared to this to a couple of the other ones I've seen on YouTube, and I think mine's actually in better condition and better painted than a lot of them. A lot of them, the paint on the warp nacelles were kind of flaking into the engine pieces itself, but the one I've got is I've got to say, is a really good paint job in comparison to those. Okay, so Montgolfier, Saber Class. Again, it's that generic movement piece we seem to be getting a lot of, that sort of 4 speed with the come about 3, and it's exactly the same as the Amar and the Jazz Carl. So Montgolfier, unique ship, 22 points. You've got a crew, you've got 2 weapons, and you've got a tech upgrade on there. You have 4 standard actions. If your ship has an opposing ship target lock during the activation phase, you may switch the target lock to a different ship within range 1 to 3 of the free action. How cool is that? So if you're targeting something, you can then move the target lock to another ship. So say it goes out of range, you could then move it to a different ship that is within range and then use it more effectively. That's a really cool little action. It's one of those things that would make you want to use the Montgolfier purely because it's something that's going to be a really big advantage to you. Nice move. 22 points for the ship is pretty decent. It's all right. For the generic version, you do lose your tech upgrade. You lose a shield as per standard, and the in unique action goes down to 20 points for you. But I've got to say, as a unique action, that's really useful. That's going to really help you going forward, especially if you're one of these people who likes to do a lot of flying around, as I tend to do when I'm playing Attack Wing and trying to take on different things and kind of going a bit of a scrap. Your generic version of the captain is there. 1 skill, no who cost, so we just show that one just so we've got the card. And your main one is Orfel Quinteros, an officer who actually was in the first season Next Generation episode 11001001. Was never a captain. He was a commander. This pack, as you'll see, is kind of bits bolted together that don't really make much sense. It's a very mishmash pack, even down to the the mission at the end. So Orville Quinteros rolls 3 defense dice, and you can repair 1 damage to your hull for every evade result. You place an auxiliary power token beside your ship for each point of damage you repair. So if you want to get back up to 3 hull points, so yeah, 3 hull points, and you've got 2. Basically, what you're looking at here is that you're gonna, if you could end up with 2 auxiliary power tokens added to your ship, because you're never going to add 3 because you'll be dead. He's got 5 captain skill, so he's mid-table, 3 cost. Does mean it's going to help the ship last a bit longer, because he's going to give you that ability to regenerate your hull. So yeah, he's okay. He's okay. The captain skill is what probably lets him down here, but you know what? You get such a good action for a low captain skill. It's a bit of a trade-off with Orville. Okay. Crew options, my, we can't get enough of this guy at the moment. He seems to be popping up all over the place. It's about the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen him in about the same number of waves. So Wesley is back, and it's a, I think that's a season 2 variant of Wesley. It might even be a season 1. I'm thinking it might even be a season 1 version. Unique action, unique character, sorry, crew, costs you 5, but he does have the dual purpose, which is always nice to see on these cards. During activation phase, after you move, if there is an auxiliary power token beside your ship, you may disable this card to perform an action from your action bar. So he will work quite well with Orville, because Orville could potentially put you some of those nasty auxiliary power tokens onto your ship, but at least Wesley means you aren't going to lose your action. You're still going to be able to play those actions through. Or during the activation phase after you move, you can disable this card to perform an action listed as one of your tech upgrades as a free action, which is cool. So you'll come to the tech upgrades here. You've got thruster array and subspace transmitter, so you could use either of those, for example, as we'll look at in a second, by disabling Wesley. So it means you can reuse him as well, which is cool. And he's a double disable. There's no option of a disable or a discard. He does give you 2 options. So 5 points for the ability to do these 2 actions is pretty good. It's pretty good. I like this. I like this card. Maybe they're just giving him a better rating than they did on the show, because he seems to be coming up with some really useful cards recently in the game. So your 2 tech upgrades, we'll come to these next. You don't actually get, as you may have noticed with Orville, Orville doesn't actually have the elite action options. There's no elite actions with this card, with this pack. It's literally the crew, tech, and the weapons. So your first of your 2 tech ones is a 3-pointer. It's thruster array, and you can discard the card to immediately perform a 1 or 2 reverse maneuver, which treats as a red. Great thing is, the reverse maneuver isn't something you have on the card to begin with, so you are getting a little bit of a bruisey bonus with this one for 3 points. Nice to see that you've got the option to be able to do this, so you can get yourself in and out of trouble. It will work pretty well, I would suspect, with your targeting option that you've got with the ship itself. So if you're moving backwards and forwards, you can then retarget and retarget, so you can get into a better position to attack your opponent. So a nice little idea there. You've also got subspace transmitter, and think about as well, both of these you can use in conjunction with that Wesley card. So you've got an action, so you've got a scan, for example. You could scan, or you can target lock, and then you can reverse it and get yourself into a better position. So there's a lot of advantages of using that tech upgrade. Subspace transmitter, 5 points again. You disable this card to target a friendly ship within range 1 to 3 of your ship. Place a scan token beside your ship and the target ship. You cannot perform a scan action as a free action this round. So this is something that will benefit yourself and benefit others. It gives you the ability to put scan onto another ship, so you're going to be able to help them defend, which is always really useful in this game, particularly if they're kind of an underpowered. Say if you're using an Oberth class ship, for example, or a Delta Flyer, something kind of small that maybe is going to take a pummeling, or even one of the shuttlecraft that we know is coming on the Einstein, for example, which we know is coming in the retail packs in the next few months. Nice little card, 5-pointer for disable, pretty decent cost. Does mean you are going to get a bit more out of your ship, and it means it can act more in a role as a support vessel than maybe that front line, particularly with that 3 attack and 2 defense. You aren't going to be willing to put this up against anything big. Your warbirds, your sort of larger Dominion ships. I'd be keeping this back, supporting your small ships at the front. As for weapons, we have the standard photon torpedoes with your time lock, your time token piece, 5 for attack, which is going to be really good with this one. Raises it up from a 3 convert your battle station, one of your battle stations, into a critical damage, and you can fire it from your forward or rear firing arcs. Of course, this only has a forward arc, so that's where you'll be firing it from if you use it on this ship. Pretty standard. Every pack has one of these. I have God knows how many photon torpedo cards now. I just kind of skipped through that one now. The final weapon one you do have is heavy graviton beam. So you kind of go, well, it's only a 3-pointer, it's only range 1 to 2, but you discard it to perform this attack, and the defending ship rolls 1 less defense dice. You can only fire it from the forward arc, which is fine. The big thing about this, and it's a range 1 to 2 weapon costing you 4 points. The big thing about this is that if it's fired against the Borg ship, you get to add 3 additional attack dice to the attack. The defending Borg ship can't roll any defense dice. So it might be a one-off hit on a discard, but imagine putting something like this onto the Enterprise E, or the Defiant, for example. A heavy graviton beam onto one of those kind of ships could really do some serious damage. It might only be a 3 for attack, but you aren't going to get... You're going to be able to roll 6 dice effectively against the Borg. A 6 dice card in that kind of attack is phenomenal. I think it's a really good card, and the fact they can't defend against it. I don't think I'd use it anywhere else. I think I would purely use it if I knew I was going up against a Borg opposition. Definitely a good card to have. Finally, the mission you've got is destroy the weapon platform. So this is taken from the 6th season Deep Space Nine episode, Tears of the Prophets. You know, he said in the hands of the Prophets, which would have been an absolute disaster. It means that you are the Federation versus the Dominion. Your job is to destroy the weapon platform and get away. As you can see there, Dominion player, if you destroy all the Federation ships. Federation player, you've got a complete or a marginal. Complete is destroying everything. Marginal is destroying the weapons platform, but not all of the ships. So that's your key objective, is to destroy the weapons platform. If you get all the ships, brilliant. If you don't, oh well. And then that's pretty much the game. So it is a standard 2-player with an objective which needs to be either defended or eliminated, depending on your side. So pretty good. Nice little pack. It is just so random in comparison to the AMAR and the Jazzcar, which are very much synchronized to their series and film that they're from the motion picture and from Enterprise. With this, it's just random how they put this stuff together. That you've got a Wesley on there, you've got Quanteros on there, and you've got some stuff which is from First Contact, and then you've got kind of bits which are generic, and then a bit from DS9 as the mission. So it kind of encompasses so many series. However, the model's pretty decent, and there are lots of little features in there. That subspace, that heavy graviton beam, is just an absolute magic piece of weaponry that I would think a lot of people want to use if they do end up facing the Borg. And it's nice to see that they are kind of trying to cope with that side of the game. Anyway, that's it for round 23. We've got 24 coming up, which I see we have a reissue of an earlier ship in. We have a Romulan ship in there, and we have a Klingon ship. So again, we're retreading the Romulan-Klingon Federation trilogy that we seem to be doing for a few waves. So again, if you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Please share. Drop by onto scos.co.uk, and we'll see you around. And until then, till wave 24, enjoy.
Transfer complete.